Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination Reading for the sign of Aries. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination, and that is exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's reading, Aries. This is a reading taking a look at what does your soul most want to highlight for you at this time. So we're going to start by pulling a card here, which is taking a look at your energy in the moment. Then we're going to be looking at what spirit is highlighting, or your soul is highlighting for you. And then we're going to dive into taking a further look at the block or challenge that's coming up around what your spirit, your soul is highlighting for you, advice from spirit as to how to overcome it, and then we'll move into the abundance or level of spiritual growth that wants to come in for you on the other side. So I am going to apologize for my voice if I sound a little nasally. I have caught a little cold, but I didn't want to postpone your reading here, Aries, because I know you are last but very not least in this round of reading. So here we are. Now, also please note this is a general reading, so please only take what resonates with you. Now, Aries, we have the Page of Swords as your energy, and this is actually very beneficial energy when compared or when blended with the Ace of Swords out here, which is what your soul is highlighting now. There's a sense of really putting yourself in that place of curiosity. There's a sense of you wanting to gather more information, trying to find the truth of a situation in your life. The pages really bring in that sense of kind of almost like childlike curiosity, sometimes optimism. But there is a sense here of really getting to that place of trying to see what you don't know. Now, what your soul is highlighting for you at this time is we have the Five of Wands and the Ace of Swords. There's a sense here of getting very clear around the truth of an area of your life where you feel like it's a little chaotic, or where you feel like you're kind of in the middle of a lot of other people trying to get their way, trying to give their opinion, because the Five of Wands can kind of be that energy of competition. It can be healthy competition. It can also be negative competition. Everybody's just trying to get the last say, so to speak. This can be like too many cooks in the kitchen. This can also be a combative energy and an energy, again, of chaos. This is it brings the number 5 in the tarot, and 5 as a number in numerology really does speak to change, and it can also speak to chaos because of that change. So there's a sense here of, at this time, Aries, really looking at what in your life is causing a sense of chaos, or where is there an aspect in your life where you feel like you're battling constantly or competing with someone. And there's a truth here that your soul is trying to really allow you to see, because that's what the Ace of Swords is. That's the aha moment. That's clarity. That is seeing through to the truth of a matter. And with the World coming in as your main underlying energy, underscored here by the Page of Cups and the Hierophant. Ooh, interesting. There's a sense here that a cycle has come to an end. That's what the World speaks to, that a major cycle has come to an end. And it's time for us to kind of celebrate the lessons learned, really get a chance to look back and enjoy the moment of coming as far as we have. And now we're getting ready to start a fresh cycle. But with the Page of Cups and the Hierophant, there's a sense here of, I think, the past cycle really centering around one of two things, either marriage, because this could be a marriage and this could be a child here with the Page of Cups coming in. This could also be, the Hierophant can represent our beliefs, what we choose to follow as well. So there's a sense here that for some of you, there might have been, with the Page of Cups, almost like this childlike optimism towards how you approached life and how you approached possibly larger institutions in your life. So the Hierophant can also speak to religion. It can speak to the laws we choose to follow. It can speak to government institutions, things of that nature as well. And there's a sense with the page coming in that there was a childlike energy around this, that you were looking at your commitments maybe from a naive perspective, or from a perspective where maybe even you were a child. This could be where some of you are actually graduating from college and you went to that government institution or that higher learning institution. You were a child when you started, but now when the world is coming in here, there's an end to that education cycle for yourself. And now you're wondering what is out there in the world for you. But there is a sense here, I think, for many of you of really trying to evaluate what is at the core of a current level of strife, chaos, or maybe where you feel like you're constantly in competition with others. So we're going to jump in here and see what this comes up around. Now, this is the chaos. There could be a truth around maybe perhaps, with the Hierophant coming in here in the Page of Cups again, there could be a sense of almost like perhaps losing an innocent part of yourself in favor of maybe taking the tried and true path. And now there's a sense of maybe looking at, has that created strife in your life? There could be something too around, perhaps depending on where you are in your life, a marriage and a child, that there is maybe like a family situation where there is a sense of maybe in your family life there's been a level of chaos, or a level of everybody trying to get their way. And maybe there's a beautiful truth now in the realization of this cycle can end. It doesn't have to continue in that way, especially if this is pertaining to a marriage that involves a child, or perhaps a marriage or a commitment on that level where maybe there was a loss of your inner child. Now, we have the World coming in again as your main point of challenge. So there's a sense here of really having a hard time closing the door on perhaps a way of being or a past cycle in your life. So this could be, let's see here, we'll get the rest of our cards coming in. Yeah, with the Eight of Cups coming in right after that. There's a sense here of knowing that it's time to walk away from something that is no longer emotionally supportive to us. Whether that is time to walk away from maybe a relationship that only created chaos in our life. Or maybe it's time to walk away from a pattern of behavior in a cycle, or maybe, this could even represent that there was an age difference between you and your partner. Maybe you were coming across as a child, or they were coming across as a child, and now there's a sense of maybe not having to repeat that pattern, closing the door on that cycle and saying, if I want to maybe stop the chaos in my life, then we both need to kind of meet at the same level. Now, this could also be around any other type of belief or institution you've chosen to be a part of, or a belief system you've chosen to follow. This could actually be where for some of you, maybe you got into a religion when you were a child, and suddenly now you're realizing, that doesn't resonate with who I am anymore. I don't believe in those tenets, or I don't believe in the practices of that faith. And you're realizing it's time for me to walk away from that because it no longer emotionally supports me. But there's a sense of maybe really getting to that place of, it's hard to kind of close the door, understanding that we have to leave all that happened there kind of behind that closed door up to that point. So, using the example of having to walk away from maybe a past relationship, or having to walk away from let's say it was a religion that you followed in, a community that you were a part of. There's a sense of, but then what now? But then and I think for some of you, you're realizing that there's been a reason that for a while now there's been some aspect of chaos or competition in your life where you feel like you're constantly having to battle with somebody or something. And it's pertaining specifically to this thing you need to walk away from, or that you need to maybe behave differently in and around now. And so it can be difficult to face that within ourselves, to say, I've been trying so hard to make something work, but instead every time I go to Every time I go to my community that's tied to this religion, I find myself arguing with everybody. And it's frustrating. And you're realizing now, oh my gosh, it's because the reason why I'm arguing with everybody is because it doesn't support me anymore. I don't believe in this anymore. Or you're realizing, I've been immature in my relationships and how I've acted in the past. And that's what's caused up to this point my sense of kind of frustration of me maybe battling it out with my significant partner or my romantic partner. And they were saying like, oh, well, you just don't see things from, an older or a higher perspective. And now you're realizing, okay, I need to now get to that level, or vice versa. I need to now ask my partner to get to this level with me. And maybe if they can't, then it's time for me to walk away. Now, the Hermit is at the heart of your reading. And I'm sorry, guys, again, my nose. But the Hermit is a card that really harnesses the energy of Virgo, but it also asks you, this is the advice from your soul to really embrace this energy. This is the soul seeker, the soul seeking energy, the individual who goes within to find their own magic, to find who they are, to rediscover their star, their kind of guiding principles, but from within. And so there's a sense here of really having to get very clear on who you are, what you bring to the situation, and maybe how you can even shine yourself as an individual out into the world, perhaps differently than you have in the past. Maybe you were shining a certain part of yourself in a way that was creating a chaotic situation. Now you're realizing that's still a part of me, but I can share that differently. Now, on the other side of the Hermit, you have, this is what's waiting to come in for you. You have the Wheel of Fortune, which can say the time is now. It can also speak to the wheel and energy turning in your favor. It can also speak to the wheel turning over. So again, it kind of has a final feeling very similar to the world, where it's saying the wheel is turning now. It had stopped for the cycle to end, and now a new cycle is beginning, but you have to take the world, the universe, God up on this offer to do something in a new way, to walk away from something and to close the door on something from the past, whether this is a belief system, a way of being, or an actual institution you are a part of, including the institution of marriage. Now we have the Three of Swords and we have the Eight of Swords. This speaks to the pain and the wounding of the past and not being able to see a way around that. So this could be like saying, I want to stop the chaos in my external life. I want to stop feeling like I'm in competition with someone. I want to feel like I don't have to get in there and have all these cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. But there's also a sense here. I mean, this could be like saying, I want to stop fighting with my romantic partner, but I can't forget all of the things we've fought about in the past. I can't forget some of the nasty things my partner has said to me, or I can't forget how I've been hurt in this way by, this, whatever this represents to you. And the Eight of Swords comes in and says, and you're kind of stuck. You can't see a way around it. You're like, it's almost like saying like, I can't forgive you. Or I can't walk away from the religion I've followed for, 35 years of my life, because it's tied somehow to now the pain of having to leave that, of having to go out there maybe into the world as a different individual, or maybe I'm mad at my religion. Maybe there's something now that the tenets, people didn't, this could be like where maybe you were let down by a community even. Where you went in there as a Page of Cups, innocent, open, hopeful, optimistic, of truly sharing yourself vulnerably. And maybe the community did not support you in a time of need. And it's pushing you into this place of, but I can't forgive them for that. And I can't see, like I have to, it's almost like you're kind of stuck almost like in a cycle of, but I got to prove that I'm worthy of this, or I got to prove that they were supposed to help me, or I got to prove to my partner that they need to continue to make up for the wounds of the past. And you have the Ten of Cups as your secondary underlying energy, which says there's abundance waiting to come in for you, Aries. Beautiful. The Ten of Cups is a heart's fulfillment, getting to touch what it feels like literally to have your heart full in this experience. And I think for many of you, it's there, it's waiting for you, but you have to release this pain that I know you think you can't get past. Now, sometimes it might not even be so readily present. This could be something that, you thought you had gotten over a while ago, and now you're being pushed to face it again because of something else. It might be coming up and presenting itself in another aspect of your life. For instance, this could be like where, let's say, you were frustrated in a marriage situation. You had come in hopeful and vulnerable, and that marriage or that partnership just never really kind of became what you were hoping it to be. And now that's starting to leak into your work life, like where you might be bringing a little bit of that in, saying, well, I let my romantic partner step all over me, in our relationship. And I'm not going to let people step on me in my work life, and it might be causing some strife. So it might be that realization, that truth of the aha, of like, wait a second, this is a cycle. This is a pattern of me not allowing myself to really fully enjoy something because there's pain coming from another place. And you're really being asked to kind of go within to really ask yourself, what do you want? But the Hermit, it's what do you want? What is that guiding principle in your life? And understanding that no one can take that from you. No institution can take that from you. No person can take that from you. Nobody can take your light. We each have an individual light to shine into the world. And it's time now to close a chapter on anything that does not allow that light to be shown purely out into the world. And it's time to walk away from, again, anything that does not emotionally support you. Sorry, guys, I had to blow my nose. It was getting to be a little much there. But anyways, it's time for you to walk away from anything that is no longer emotionally supportive of you, including any community that didn't support you in the way that you were hoping. Again, any relationship that you'd come vulnerably into and did not support you. But again, it's also be Eight of Cups can represent walking away from a way of being as well in that relationship. Oops, sorry guys. I'm going to jump right in now, and we're going to pull some clarifiers to dive a little deeper into the message behind some of these cards. It's almost like for some of you, the Ten of Cups is presenting itself, this beautiful gift of emotional fulfillment, and yet you're holding on. It's almost like you can't see it. It's out of reach because you're holding on to the wounds of the past. And that could be from something past that, again, with the world coming in, has ended. This could be like you left a job that you just, were put through the ringer through, where you were pushed to your limits. People didn't respect you. You had to do all the work, whatever. And now it's like you have the perfect job presenting itself to you, and yet you still are kind of going through the same motions you were in the previous job because you can't just let the pain of the past go. Or this could be actually where you're constantly talking about that awful job you had, and people are like, dude, let it go. You've got the best job in the world now. Just be happy and enjoy it. Yeah, okay, so we have the Nine of Coins, the Nine of Pentacles, and then we have the Eight of Cups and the Five of Pentacles for the world. So here's the Eight of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. This is what you're being asked to walk away from. You're being asked to walk away from a lack mentality. You're being asked to walk, for many of you, you're sitting in a great place of independence. The Nine of Pentacles is financial independence. It's where we have enough time, energy, money. We have more than enough. We are sitting in a place where we can really enjoy the fruits of our labor. And at some point in your life, you hadn't been there. At some point in your life, you felt like you were left out in the cold, or you didn't have anything. Those can feel like, again, this could be people turning their back on you. You might have been in a time of need, and maybe the community did not support you, or whatever the belief system was, let you down. But this is saying now that has passed. That time has passed where you were let down by others, or you had a monetary loss in some capacity. And it's saying it's time to release this mindset to step into this abundant one. You're entering a cycle of abundance, Aries, and it's time to really enjoy that. And it means that you are going to have to walk away. Now, this may mean that you might have to walk away from, again, the group that made you feel like you were left out in the cold, or anybody who made you feel that way, or just walk away on an emotional level from that time in your life. Then we have the Eight of Coins for the Eight of Cups. There was something that you had been working towards, you had been building. Now, that could be that you were building a business. You were working really hard and, working your way up in a company. You were working really hard on a marriage and a home life with someone else. But that time, that thing you were working on, it's done. It's run its course. It's no longer emotionally fulfilling for you, whatever that was that you were working on. So again, this could be like, you had been working to really build your faith and really build your role in a community. And that left you being out in the cold at some point. And now it's saying, well, I know you spent a lot of time and energy into it, but it's time to walk away from that, because if you're honest with yourself, it's no longer emotionally supporting you. You were a different person. That was a different time. And I do get something here that again, you might have been a younger version of yourself. This could have been like you started work right out of college and you thought, oh, I'm going to go in here and help this person build their company up to this level. And yet it got to the point where, maybe they never promoted you and you were just doing all the work and they kept promising, or something happened and you were let go. But there's a sense here of being able to, yes, put to bed the pain of the past. We have the World again. So this is the third time this card has come up. The World and the Three of Swords. And that's the second time this card has come up. So yes, there was heartache around something you've been working towards in the past. And it's time to finally close the door on that so that you can really enjoy the fruits of your labor now. And the Ten of Cups that is waiting for you to fully embrace on an emotional level. Okay, let's see here for the Hermit. What does Aries need to know about the Hermit? Oh, I love it. Four of Wands. Four of Wands can be a marriage. It can represent a foundation that was built that we can celebrate with others. It can also be where we really get a chance to stop and pause and enjoy what we've built up to this point. And there might be a sense here of really having to get clear on that. Ooh, I love it. Eight of Wands and Four of Wands. So this is fast movement towards this Four of Wands. There's a lot of energy right here. And so there is a sense that maybe you are looking to build a business. And maybe, one thing didn't work out, but maybe all of a sudden you're realizing, okay, I do have a solid foundation at where I'm working now. And I really need to honor that. It might have kind of come out of the blue. It might have been a lot of, this can actually be where like all of a sudden a lot of stuff happens in your life. And you don't even realize how something has kind of plateaued, stabilized, allowed you to take a breath and really get to that place of like, whew, I can enjoy where I am. Everything's good. I'm independent. Nine of Pentacles can really speak to the card of independence. I've got a lot of money in the bank, or I've got a lot of time and energy. I've got a good foundation. And it's almost like you're being asked to say, take this time to really go within and recalibrate and realize you have something very good in your life right now. That yes, maybe at a past time, a marriage didn't work out, or a partner wasn't supportive of you, or a community left you high and dry, or a workplace left you high and dry. A business owner cut you out or let you go, or you name it. But there's something here that says, but you've recovered from that. and you're at a really great place right now, and whatever this is referring to, this Hierophant, Page of Cups. So now it's time to really be grateful for that. Honor that. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune, clarifying the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, so the time is now. And I love it that it comes in with the Knight of Cups, because the Knight of Cups is the hopeful romantic. This is the individual who gets on their horse and they're ready to go out with a romanticized vision of life. Again, they're ready to go and have that epic romantic adventure. Doesn't mean it has to be in romance, but they're ready to get out there again and share of themselves vulnerably. To put those rose-colored glasses on and say, it's okay to show yourself in that way again. It's almost like this reading is saying, you're okay, Aries. You're okay. You don't have to feel like you have to keep battling. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone anymore. You can just enjoy how far you've come, and you can put the pain of the past away. But it does mean that you have to walk away from it on an emotional level. You have to be the one to shut the door on that. So let's see here. So for some of you, this could actually be the realization that maybe you're in a new relationship, and maybe you keep fighting with your partner because you keep bringing the wounds of the past relationship into your current relationship and saying, no, this person you're with now is not that person, or it's not going to become that situation. You're seeing the truth now, maybe the reason why you keep bringing up a subject, you keep worrying about something, when in reality, you're past that. This is not going to happen again in this relationship. Now with the Three of Swords and the Eight of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles. Here we go. So here's the Five of Wands again with the Knight of Swords. So the Two of Coins as a card where we're just juggling, where we just feel like we're just getting by, where we're not really connected to what we're doing. We're just kind of like, okay, every day, these are the tasks I have to juggle. It can also be where we're being asked to prioritize something in our life, and we feel like we don't have the time or energy to do that, or we don't see a way how. Now with the Knight of Swords and the Five of Wands, this can be actually where you're realizing how you verbalize or how you share your truth is what actually creates that strife. This could be like where you're looking at your communication style, that maybe you realize, every time I get into a conversation with my romantic partner, I come across as immediately defensive because that was my relationship with my past ex-romantic partner. That we would start to have a discussion and he would immediately, or she would immediately put me on the defensive or yell and get really loud, whatever that was. And so my behavior and how I speak and share of myself now is creating strife like that with my current partner because I'm just defaulting back to that way. This could also be where you're realizing that maybe with the Knight of Swords and the Five of Wands, this could be also maybe where you need to share with someone else in your life that, hey, this is what puts me on edge. This is what's triggering to me. I feel like I'm pushed into a place where I'm constantly having to prove myself. And it could be too that you might feel like you're up to this point, you've had to kind of fight for yourself. That can be the Knight of Swords, the Five of Wands. I have to keep sticking up for myself. I have to keep getting in there and sharing my truth and having a sharp tongue. And in reality, I think for many of you, there's a sense of realizing that it's time to commit to something. It's time to get out of a cycle where perhaps you have just been juggling, and really look at your communication style. Look at also where you feel you have to prove yourself continually, and who do you feel you have to prove yourself to and why. This can be where the person wants to get the last word. It's interesting that this combination is coming across kind of like the Five of Swords energy to me, where it's almost like every time you speak up, it creates drama, or you're like, I have to get the last word, so I'm going to join. This would be like being in a workplace and other people are like hashing something out and you're like, but I have to get in the middle of that too. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to. Maybe in your last work environment that was pushed on you. But in this work environment, you just got to focus on what you got to focus on. You don't have to, be the one that's constantly butting in and trying to give your opinion. Maybe maybe all you have to do is go in, work 9 to 5 and leave. Maybe you're realizing that, like, I don't have to jump into the mix. I don't have to fight for that new policy or prove to someone that I can do it better. I'm just going to let them do it, and I'm going to focus on me. And that can be the Two of Pentacles, making the choice to focus and prioritize the pentacle that is more in alignment with you, instead of trying to juggle it all. Now, with the Two of Swords, this also speaks here. This is your third underlying energy. It's not being able to see a way forward. There's a choice to be made, but you can't see how to make it. And I think for many of you, it's how the choice is closing the door finally on the pain of the past. And that will allow you to finally realize it's time to walk away from anything that feels chaotic. It might be time to walk away from any type of behavior or communication style that is directly linked to, again, the pain. Like, it could be like, again, where you were in a really competitive work environment, and maybe everybody was kind of mean to each other. Maybe there's kind of people doing things behind people's back, or it was competitive. Like, it was like every day everybody was pushed to, like, undercut the person next to them, and it was like a kind of dog eat dog environment. And then you realize, I'm going into a really supportive, loving work environment now, and I don't have to speak like that. I don't have to be the one that gossips behind my coworker's back, because that's how I was used to getting ahead at the last place. It's one of those things where it's almost like you're bringing maybe a bad habit from another time that you were forced to embrace, almost out of survival, perhaps. Where you had to embrace, you had to almost do something to protect yourself. You had to speak, act in a certain way. But now you don't have, now the speaking and acting in that way is only causing you more chaos in your life. It's not actually bringing you the peace that you're seeking, because it doesn't fit this current environment. It doesn't fit the beautiful, stable place you're at now. So really keep that in mind, that there's a chance now to really kind of ease into a level of abundance and love and grace and acceptance, forgiveness. And I love it, with the two Wheel of Fortunes and the Knight of Cups, it's saying it's time to go forward with optimism and vulnerability again. It's time to put those rose-colored glasses back on, because you can. And, this may be, the Knight of Cups is Piscean energy. You could have a Pisces in your life, and it's saying, maybe now it's time to really go back in. And if there's a Pisces person in your life, maybe, or someone who really harnesses the energy of, the best parts of a water sign, be that Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, there's a sense of really kind of getting back into the lighter side of the positive aspects of the water signs, which are obviously using your emotions in a very positive, supportive way towards others, really embracing your emotions and sharing them with others from a beautiful, optimistic place. So there's almost like a chance here to move away from being the Knight of Swords, which is really sharp, kind of biting communication, to the Knight of Cups, who's like, let me share this with you. It's an emotional based level of communication. So it's a beautiful energy here. It's like a shift. I almost just want to say it's safe. It's safe, Aries, for you to be you now. It's safe for you to close the door on that, whatever you had to get through, where you felt like you almost had to fight for your survival. There's nothing left to prove except to enjoy what's waiting for you now, which is the Ten of Cups. All right, so I'm going to pull a final card here. So yeah, I'd say if I had a word of advice for you right now, your soul is just asking you to look at your communication style and to see if you can temper that communication style with, how can I say it? With surrendering to the adventure again, surrendering to the romantic aspect of life, seeing things with rose-colored glasses. I love it. It says surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. And that's exactly what this shows here, that we can go through really difficult periods in our life. Yes, at some point, somebody will close a door in our face, or somebody will take advantage of us, or somebody will hurt us. But that's part of our soul's path. And now it's led you to where you are today, which is in a very abundant place, a very supportive place. And you get the chance to accept that now at this time. You get to play the role that you're meant to as things are now, not as things had been. All right, I will leave it there for you, Aries. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book your own personal reading to take a look at what your soul would most like you to know at this time, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next illumination reading. Bye, Aries.